Okay, we're on video number 2. It really would be good to listen to 1 before you go to 2. Shout out to Manny and SD. Both of you, even though you guys aren't even friends, have inquiring minds. Inquiring minds. What is this thing on TV? Okay. I'm going to go on about the way these archons, reptilians, whatever you want to call them, influence and enter people's bodies, and so forth and so on. Now remember that they cannot take you over unless you allow them. Maybe as children, if they're raised in like this demonic pedophile thing like the Queen of England and all that, the upper people, the upper crust, have. It may be implanted them at a young age, and once they get a taste for it, it never leaves them because it's so seductive. It's like, hey, what do you want? Well, we'll show you how to get it or give it to you. And it's not till later that they introduce the bloodthirsty part of it. In every video I was talking about how my mom is a Greek Turkish gypsy and my dad is Cherokee. And I got to the point of where I was telling, how my mother taught me different ways of seeing these beings. And, of course, they were demons, jinn, whatever, to her. My father, the Native American Church, they were demons, low-life spiritual entities, so forth and so on. But in my travels, I've come to the thing that they're not that, they're just something alien. And that we allow them to enter this realm through our own greed and lust. Of course, the Bible would tell us that that demons have the same abilities and get you the same way. So we're going to go on to the next thing right now. You can... okay, this is how I was first taught to see them. And it's really rudimentary. When Mom would sit across a table doing a reading or something for somebody, doing a card reading, which is not necessarily allows them in or out. I mean, it's not just a totally occult thing where you open your head up and do this. That was one of the things you never did, was open your mind up. You never channeled. You never did any of that. You did it through your own abilities. Now, right here is your third eye. I believe that there's a third eye here. There is a pineal gland. It does give off dimethyltryptamine, which changes your perception. You have to listen to the other videos. The other video. I'm going to number these 1 through God knows what they'll be if I start going on and on about this. You look into a person's eyes. It's not looking directly in their eyes. It's like looking at their third eye. You do a type of action that's not meditation in this sense, in the worldly sense that Hindus and every channelers and all that do. It's not allowing this to come in. You are projecting yourself. You are using your own physical energies to, you become a beam. You beam pulses out of your head. You're not having something beam into your head. Otherwise, you're not having nothing beaming into you. You're beaming out at everything else. In other words, they're not as strong as you think they are. You're actually forcing a hole in the aura or energy field of the other person. It's not the being that you're forming. It's the energy. The being uses the energy of the human and projects what they want you to see. Hey, if you want to see... Has anybody ever noticed this? probably if you've gone out with low-life women, you'll probably notice it. Not even what I'm considering low-life, but of low moral values, that use their sexuality as a tool. Some women have the ability to shapeshift to a degree. And most of them have been into the occult or into, it could be from witchcraft, just little things, the stuff they learned off their peers, their mothers, their madam, whoever, this is one way that these movie actors, actresses, and the actors too, they'll get on stage and all of a sudden they'll change. Well, they're actually shape-shifting. They'll be going up there, starting their act, just be a regular human being, and then they'll become like fantastic. There's lots of videos on them. They'll become the stars that they want to be. But what they're doing is not humanly possible. They literally shape-shift into a being that every person, every man or every woman or every being, period, wants to look at. That is like it's like the spirit of the whore of Babylon. She's a wretch that's totally inside, just all fucked up. But when she projects this other being that's beautiful, seductive, like everything that anybody wants, or she's the best singer on the whole music industry is totally racked by demonic entities. I'll go on that later, and I know more about them than most people do, or most people don't even say. Okay, we're on to the next thing. They shapeshift. It's easy to see. I've had women in, I don't know how far to go with it, that I was really lusted after or had sex with, or just wanted, or just had it like my freaking, what do you call them? Guys have women as, like a decoration that's always with you, like when you go into a casino or somewhere, you have some beautiful chick with you, she could be a prostitute as far as that goes, but you don't care. She can shapeshift into this beautiful creature that walks through there, and everybody looks at her and everybody wants her. And she's your trophy. And you use her to, get everybody's attention so you can do whatever you want to do. You have the ability to screw people's heads. You women out there know what that looks like, because you've seen it, and you probably turn around to your husband, what the fuck, you looking over there at that bitch? I know what it's like. You know what it's like. Okay, go on to the next thing here. But that's easy to see. Well, okay, I was in a situation once, I had a gal with me, and there was another gal there, and another guy. And I looked over at them. I wasn't in the same bed with them or anything, we were on the other side of the room. But I look over there, and the gal looks over there. I'm looking at her, and she looks at me, and she shifts and turns into a freaking demon. I don't know if it's a demon or what, but this is how they get that a reptilian thing. You say they're reptiles. They look like reptiles. They turn into scaly, horny, fucking, lizard looks, like a Komodo dragon or something, with little freaking horns all over them, or down their back like an iguana, and just looks at you and kind of laughs. Well, we'll get you. Okay, so you can see that President Obama is not freaking human just by looking at him. He's an animated being. He's like a piece of plastic. When I see him there, he looks like you could take a scalpel and cut him down the center and rip him open. He's going to have what you call mechanical innards, artificial life. Well, one time he was human. And then when he was a child, his whore of a mother and his father, the manipulative, friggin' communist, Marxist stooge of the totalitarian communist government, where he was sent, where he's over there trained and sent here, and trained his son, Mr. Obama, into being a communist manipulator. He was a, I don't know what you call him, a shill, a plant, a whatever, a controller, somebody you want to gain control. And it's easy, you know, he grew up. He was implanted with the spirit somewhere down in his youth. I can see it from the pictures of him in Hawaii. I mean, he had adulation from everyone around him, always smiling, always being coked out. I'm giving you honest statements, you know. When the other kids were out in back of the bleachers, you know, smoking joints, he was at a faggot bar picking up on guys and getting coke and getting had to bend over for it. And what he got out of it, you know, these beings introduced him to all that. And as he did things that were more and more perverted, the more and more power that he got. So, you know, you see these people in power, a great deal of them have got it for being as sick as possible, because it gave the entities a easier time being inside and controlling him, because his personality is broken down. Or he didn't even like himself. He wasn't even human. His DNA was changed, the frequency of his brain. These beings have they're not from this world. And not being from this world, they knew nothing about it. Anything that goes, that they can think of, they have no relationship with this place. They know nothing about it. They know nothing about humans. For the last 12,000, I don't know how long, years, they have been out here learning how to use humans for their purpose. And that's it. And they've been changing the human, I think it may be when streams of consciousness are created, they go on forever. They do not stop existing. What happened 1,000 years ago, it's right there, right before us. It's just on another line, another timeline. That's it. It might not even be a timeline, just a dimensional line. And everything that happened thousands of years ago, the same stuff they're doing to these people, the same control on this century. But over the years, they've added to it. And as the years pass, each group of humans become more and more controlled and perverted from their true nature. True nature is just to be happy, share food, have sex, live as a natural being. The story in the Bible about Cain and Abel, about when Cain killed Abel, it had nothing to, there was a symbology there that before that humans were hunter-gatherers. They were also growers of crops. I know that it's not the archaeologists, that wasn't true, but crops have always been grown, but not to the same degree. Money was not an issue. Money had nothing to do with anything. Everybody just traded for what they needed at the time. There was no indebtedness at all. Indebtedness comes from the sin. I believe that sin, that evil was made up by these guys. There was no sin and evil back then. Okay, Cain and Abel, it symbolizes Cain killed Abel. What does it mean? He was a crop grower. he grew these crops and traded and lived in cities. The agricultural age, hunter-gatherer to the agricultural. Well, the hunter-gatherer really didn't do anything different as far as growing and agriculture. They depended on nature more, upon the planet. But then it switched over to money. It switched over to... See, the whole thing of debt slavery is the same thing as Adam and Eve committing a sin that couldn't be paid back because they were finite and God is infinite. I think an Adamic God, like you would call God, Manny and some of you folks out there, is not going to take us, me and you, people that have died for the last thousands of years, and project torture and just, let's see, what do we call it? Pain, torture, suffering. This is basically, there's a lot of beautiful things here, but everything has been perverted. It's like you see something beautiful. Okay, now we want to take it because it's beautiful. Or like we're going to go pick a flower, or dig up a tree and take it home. Well, that's not, originally, the tree was there to grow, it was beautiful, great, let's go on to the next thing. You know, we enjoyed what was there, and when we were done enjoying, we went on to the next thing. We didn't try to uproot it and have a covetousness against it, with it, you know. So Cain symbolizes another step in the de-evolution, de-evolution of humanity into a, or as a Christian would say, a fallen state. A state where his, okay, I'm going to use the godliness, but let's use that. His perfection was taken away. He had become not even a lower life form. Well, a rat running down the street is a higher life form than man has de-evolved into. It lives by the programming that the originality of this planet. We have been reprogrammed by these alien beings, by these, what you call, reptoids, or whatever you want to call them. Now, they're much more subtle than what a lot of the people that are writing about and making videos about them, they're very subtle. It's not like they just take somebody over and stick a tendril in their eye and soak up their brain, or go into their brain. They take people by seducing them into their state of de-evolution by whatever means possible. And then after you have once partaken the least bit of what they give, you're hounded by them forever. I'll admit to you that they have come into me, offered me all kinds of things. I could have done almost anything in my lifetime. Here's one. They will set up scenarios for you to be sucked into different things that you really are not good for you. They're really throwing you into the pit of hell, which I don't believe in hell, but that's a good example. I'll tell you part of the story in another video. I'll make another part of it. I'm in a bar down. It's not even a bar. It's a fucking swank resort. And you say, well, what are you doing in a swank resort? Well, I was doing work on one of the buildings. And I got a pass to get through the gate and all that and go into Fairfield. I believe it's Fairfield, or was it La Paloma? One of these big things up in the hills, you know, above Tucson. You know, you see these beautiful places, you know. It costs buku bucks, you know. If you go in for lunch, you're going to spend $50. I went in there in the evening after I was through with my work, went home and cleaned up, and I thought I'd go in there. I'd never been in there, and sit in a bar and just chum around, you know, maybe have a few drinks. And I met a gal there. She was from Belgium, from what's the name of the place? She's from Brussels. She had her business in Brussels. She was a what do you call record producer. She had a record company, a music business. As I found out later, she was worth like $150 million, and she was tied into all this elite bullshit. If you have ever touched them and ever gone deep into what these beings do and how they react, they never let you go. They always were trying to suck you into something. Okay, this was in 1999. I was like, how old am I now? I'm 63, so I was 52. I was about 45 years old, I guess. And really super handsome at the time, movie star type. We sat there and talked, and then we fooled around a little bit the next day, and then I had to go do some business, and I said, well, you know, I might see you I'm going to leave in 2 days, you know. She was like maybe 5 years old, and she's like 50, I think, and I was 45, that's it. All of a sudden, you know, I get a letter from Belgium from her at my house over in off of Tanque Verde in Tucson, off of Bear Canyon. Anybody from out there, give me a buzz on a email or something, especially females. Okay, so she sent me $750 in cash. Not cash, you can't send cash. I mean, like in a, what do you call it? Like American Express, like a Western Union kind of thing, and a ticket to Brussels. And it was like 2 weeks after that. I wasn't working at the time of this. I was selling gems, cut stones to jewelry stores, trading in that kind of stuff. Not too much gold, silver, gems, some diamonds, that kind of stuff, rubies, that kind of stuff. And going to the gem show, I'm giving you a lot of information about what's going on, goes around here, because you know somebody's got to believe what I'm saying, and not just be told I'm not a total shill. And I got a ticket, went over there, got off the plane in Brussels, got off the plane, had big bags full of jewelry too. It was just harder than shit to sell over there. But I thought I was going to make money on it. I traded them for knives. Spanish knives, you know, what do you call it? Special kind of steel. What was it called? Soligen? No, it's not Soligen steel. It's an Arabian steel where they take and fold it and bend it. You know, it's even hard to reproduce now. Damascus steel. That's what the blades of the original Muslim hordes were that went up into Hungary and Romania. Okay, so I get there. There were 7 girls living in the house. Well, I'd say 6 counting her. The young girls, 22, 23. There were 2 twins, 22 and 22. Girl from England, which I really didn't like. There was a really nice girl from Morocco. There was a nice girl. There were 6 girls living in this big house, and this gal. And I got really chummy with the girls. I went to, what do you call it? I don't know what the country's called. To Amsterdam. And got this really brutally strong weed that they mixed it with tobacco. It was so strong. And I plied them all with weed. And they said, John, you want to see something? Okay. In the cellar, she had 7 coffins. And she had pictures of different people in them. All these herbs, supposedly graveyard dirt, to try to get these people to use them for some purpose. They had one German singer that was like on TV, a beautiful girl. Kind of looked like, I don't know, Marilyn Monroe blonde type, except skitsy German Dietrich kind of thing. Played in the clubs around Brussels. Okay, they had, one of the girls there was in there. I think it was this girl, Deborah. There was, I think the Moroccan was in there, and then some people I didn't even know. Showed me all the stuff. Okay, I kind of find out she's like some freaking witch. When I met her in Arizona, I didn't really see that about her. I was actually kind of just wanted to get into her because I thought she had a bunch of money. I didn't really know at the time until I got to Brussels. But I was used to just throwing money away, and I thought this might be a good opportunity for me to cash in the big bucks. Yeah, well, yeah, that's what the reptilians like, is people with not a whole lot of... I'm very moral as far as hurting people or anything like that. But I figured, well, if she wants to spend money on me, I may as well go for the ride and just come home. I wasn't in love with her or nothing. I didn't even care. I didn't even look to see if she was a reptile. I didn't even care at the time. I just thought I'd wing it. I got there. I seen everything they said with the coffins and all that. I was in one of them. My picture. She had some plans for me. Why she got me into it, I don't know. Nothing special about me. So I can fast talk pretty good. Okay, what she does is we go to nightclubs every night, from Belgium to Amsterdam to Spain. All over the whole European thing. I've been all over it. Nightclubs every night. First all over Brussels. Then we drive to another town. Her father was a member of Parliament, the Parliament in Brussels, the Belgium. I guess he was a pretty heavy guy there, too. I had been to his house. It was a giant mansion. But they had villas everywhere. They had one in Turkey. They had one in Spain, which I lived at for a while. And they had one in Lyon in France. Then the Riviera. Okay. Her dad didn't approach me. An Interpol agent named Juliette was inviting me over to her house. Another thing this lady would do, she would try to get me to have sex with all her friends. Now, I don't know if she had planned me to go over there, or this gal just invited me over there. And I get over there, and there's a fellow who is from the friggin' French fucking Corsican fucking mafia or something, I didn't want to get deep into his business when I was there. But he had to do with gambling, who knows what. Smuggling things. Of course, you didn't have to worry about smuggling things. You walk across, there's no borders there. There's no borders from, I believe, Poland, all the way, Poland, Turkey, all the way to, well, you can just go walk across the border into Hungary and Romania. So, what was I getting? I was out there. Okay, this guy was some kind of a gangster, a European gangster. I asked him what he was. Like the mafia. Well, he didn't really answer me. Some kind of European mafia thing, which he was. From there, I proceed to get. Juliette is a guard, like a Secret Service guard for Philip of Belgium, the Prince of Belgium. And this is the first time I met any of these elites, which you guys talk about. they're really weird when you get into the... Okay, I got invited to the palace. They're in Brussels. There's a big palace. There's a palace, and there's a giant... It's like a big square, like blocks and blocks of buildings and stuff. And you go in there. I was invited to dinner, hang out there with Prince of Belgium. And this gal, Juliette. I didn't remember the guy's name. At the time, I didn't really care. And all the people there, they weren't normal people. I don't know. If you haven't been in deals like this, you won't know what I'm getting. Looking for another cigarette. My lungs are already destroyed. I had pneumonia for 2 weeks, and I'm still smoking cigarettes. Been to the hospital twice. Fuck, I don't know where they are. I want to finish talking first. Okay, I'm probably make another video off of this. You go in there, there's all these beautiful females around, and like you see one of these movies on TV where they're not human or vampires or a movie Eyes Wide Shut. Even that's not as weird as these people were. You just look at them, that you just have to look at them. You don't have to go into a state where a frequency where you're trying to see them. It's just so obvious that there's something else going on here than what's normal to the human eye, They're just too weird. All the women look like they want to jump your bones. All the guys look like they're, I don't know, what would you call it? Kind of like they could go either way, They could either have sex with gals or sex with you or turn into whatever. They had nothing. They weren't like, these people are not human. They're not human. Even Prince of Belgium, and I don't even know who he was with, had a gal there with him. These people, they just weren't, they were weird. Any American or Canadian or whatever, like you, Manny, or you down there south in Kentucky, would say, hey, this place is weird. I want to get out of here right now. They not necessarily had a being in them, but their consciousness was changed. They were no longer functioning as human beings. There was something where they were different. Between themselves, they were real tight. They were like together. But they all thought that they were so much better than anybody out in the road or a human being or myself even, I was like some kind of a toy, that they, like, let's fuck with this guy, And they came to find out that I wasn't that easy to fuck with. I didn't give no shit who they were. I just say, hey, well, fuck you, At the time I didn't have to because I could pretty much express myself without saying that. So I have dinner, I hang out with these people. I meet her father after we go home. Well, no, I didn't go home with her because she wasn't there. I was with Juliette. She went her own way and I went home to this other gal's house. Her name was Nicole. Okay, I meet her father. Father is a member of Parliament. He's a I believe he was an SS guy. And he's got a German name. I don't want to say it. I'm sure he's probably dead by now. He was pretty old then. He was in his late 70s. He was an old SS officer, I believe. There was nothing human in him at all. He would probably do you right away if he could. So he wants me to smuggle things. I'm probably going to get in trouble for this. I've gotten in trouble for saying shit over in the public eye for before and been damaged physically. which I've said on here before on different channels, but there are realms where I am very, what I say is considered to be the fact, which is the fact for people who know what I'm talking about. For people that are just on regular people that work all day and do their thing, it's so far different from where they're used to living that they just don't take this as being real. Okay, somehow he, this fella, got money from what I was asked to do. You know, I don't know where he got the money at, but he traded in money. You know, like I don't know what you call it. You know, you take money in Europe. You take money from one bank and take it to another kind of bank, to a different kind of currency. And you go to Luxembourg or Spain or whatever, you know, or over to Eastern Europe, and you could change and get more money for it. You know, like you might get $5 over here, you'd only get maybe like $5.25. No, you wouldn't even get that much. You get like $5.05. You know, but when you're taking over, smuggling over cases full of money, I mean, millions of marks. Marks are one of their favorite things. Make a lot of money. So I was asked to do that, you know, to go take money all over. Whether I did or not, you know, I'm not going to say. I probably didn't. I didn't do it. I didn't do anything they asked me to do, you know. I mean, I wouldn't have sex with any of these gals. I wouldn't do any of this shit. They did talk me into going and exercising houses, like telling us bears to leave or what have you, making them go. And I wouldn't do anything. I would just have a bag of weed in my pocket and make everybody leave or go into the front room, and I'd go exercise some cannabis. I mean, I'd put it all up in smoke. And I'd sit and smoke and lay out on the bed in one of their friggin' bedrooms and just get all fucking warped and go to sleep or whatever and come down a few hours later. And like the little lady in the Poltergeist movie, I'd say, "This house is clean." You know, and like, oh yeah, it's good, you know. It was another gal. I exercised her house. It was right next to this 16th century freaking cemetery, graveyard. And there's been them big old churches and all your gravestones and all this next door. And she said that all the spirits from there would come over and bug everybody in their sleep. And she had some strange sister who was a human and was trying so bad to resist all this. She didn't know what she was resisting or why she was resisting it, but like continuous fight, you know, it was like destroying her. I wanted to freaking help her, actually. Didn't want to do anything, have sex with her or anything. I just wanted to help her. I'm trying to figure out what this gal's name was that we went and visited, that I did that with. I don't know I know what her name was, but I'm sitting there with a gal and her, and we're drinking some kind of, I don't know, some kind of alcohol. You know, I don't like alcohol, but smoking weed in front of everybody doesn't work everywhere. Okay, so I'm drinking there with her, and all of a sudden pops out of this girl, Nicole, this lady Nicole, to this other girl there, French lady. It's all French. French and Belgium. It's all the same thing. And, hey, she wants me to have sex with this lady. You know, you just don't bring I'm not a whore, you know, I'm not, bring somebody in the frickin', you're in the, what do they call it, a foyer, or, you know, a little room where you, where you entertain guests and stuff, have tables and serve drinks on. People all have money. They're all big time money. Money people are totally perverted. They've had, I don't know why. I could have money, lots of money, and not be perverted. I guess it's how they get it because it was given to them. And instead of like whenever I was in my 20s, working 14 hours a day, unloading train cars at the, that was in Orange County up near Orange, California, unloading train cars full of lumber and whatever have you for day labor just doesn't work over there, working for your own thing. That's the way I lived whenever I was younger. Besides, there was other things I did too, which I had been castigated as a shill for. I was taught theater arts at Saddleback College, and I worked down at Palomar and for Celestron Pacific. And all these things I got into, without any education or anything, because I was smart. Okay, I can even show it to anybody. I've got they send out when you're 62. They send you a sheet that says, has all the places you've ever worked at. I'm looking for a cigarette right now. Cigarette break. Well, I must say, in this area here, I'm like one of the older people around. It's cool. They think I got all these little weedhead gangsters coming over here in the barrio and give me all kinds of weed to smoke. And they walk off with my freaking cigarettes. I'd rather have my cigarettes. No, I wouldn't. I can't find my cigarettes. It could be in this other coat. It snowed out here in the Sandman Well in Oracle. It's been freezing. I got pneumonia for 2 weeks. Been to the hospital, all that shit. Okay, what were we talking about now? Okay, I a lot of people, Manny once accused me, he must have been, what do they call it, compartmentalized. I had run to go anywhere I wanted to in Palomar because I knew people that worked there, professors and stuff, that had met me at Celestron Pacific, where the owner of the company, which was Alan Hale Jr., the fellow who had his grandfather had been the person who did the Schmidt telescope in Palomar, got me a pass to go over there and do whatever I fucking wanted to. You can go into any room and be there. Okay, let's go on to that. On the next thing. That's from Manny, what I've just said, who says I'm a shill. And I was compartmentalized and not known. People that they don't want there, they aren't supposed to, that aren't left in, they can go anywhere. You don't seem to understand that it doesn't necessarily need to be any hiding or keeping things secret. These entities control the public anyway. If they don't want you to know something, you just will never find out. They'll maneuver reality around you so you never are anything above what they want you to be. Computer's screwing up again. Okay, I'm going down to another video. Bit more my life story than anything, but it'll tell a lot about it because this has been one of my main interests in my life, is finding out what the hell is going on. At a very young age, when I was like 15 years old, I knew that there was some frickin' thing wrong. Whatever was going on this planet didn't work, and none of it added up. So I spent since I was like 15. I'm 63 now. That would give you the years that I've been spending my off time from doing whatever I was doing to studying this. And research has nothing to do with looking in books. The biggest part, that's there, but the stuff in books about this subject, about the occult, religion, all that, is just all bullshit. The only way you find the truth is by meeting the people and asking them personally. Okay, I'm going to make another video. I'm going to close this one off.